This is Mark Zuma, former voice of the Philadelphia 76ers, here to welcome you to the Sixers Standard. And now here are your hosts, Ethan Koppelman and Noah Movsowitz.
Welcome back to another edition of the Sixers Standard Podcast. I am Ethan Koppelman here with Noah Movsowitz, and it's been a little bit of a while, and we do apologize for that. We've both been a bit busy, but here we are. This is the first episode for us of the Sixers 2022-23 season, and Noah, so far I don't think it's in question that it's been a bit of a disappointment.
Well, yeah, we're like 2-5. Like that's not expectations. I thought we were going to be a little bit better than that. Actually, much better than that. Not gonna lie. We're like almost as bad as like the Nets and the Lakers. Like almost. We're like right there.
Yeah, and it's been a weird season, as in, the Lakers were supposed to improve too, and they're 0-5. I get they didn't have a great season last year, but they were supposed to be good again. And the Nets, Simmons has been everything as advertised, 4 points a game, basically, doing nothing. And they're 1-4 as well. But I guess we are recording this on Saturday, so the good news is the Sixers finally did pick up another win yesterday. It was a good win against the Toronto Raptors, no Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey played the game of his career, 44 points on 15 for 20 shooting, and he was just on fire. He lit it up.
He was the reason we won the game. If he was on fire, we would have lost against him, honestly. Like, we probably would have lost against him. Like, that's how bad we are right now. There's got to be a lot of changes made, and we'll talk about that later into the episode.
Yeah, and I guess we could even really talk about it now if you wanted to, and I guess this kind of ties into it. I feel like, and I guess I would probably put this on the coaching staff, but it doesn't seem like personnel is being used in the right way, and I'll explain what I mean. You have three guys in Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey. Is this a perfect trio? Is this a trio that you would, handpick to put together based on fit? Probably not. But that's irrelevant to the fact here. What needs to happen is that these three players need to be put in scenarios where they could try to have as much success as possible, where they can milk as much success out of these guys as possible. And for me, I don't see that really happening right now. Embiid needs to get the ball quicker. He needs to play point guard less. He cannot be handling the ball. And I know Embiid wants to handle the ball, but who is that on to get him not to handle the ball? That's on the coaching staff, right? So that's for Embiid. Harden, he can't. There's two things Harden can be doing, right? He can either be aggressive and dribble quickly. You know what I'm saying? Quick offense drive inside, right? He could do that, or he could do the facilitating thing. What he cannot do is the thing where he gets the ball with 24 seconds, dribbles the clock down to 5 seconds, does the dribble thing, and steps back and misses a three. He cannot do the hold the ball for the entire shot clock thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's either quick Harden, quick decisions Harden, or passing Harden. That can't happen. And again, Harden's been pretty good, but he has taken, I saw a stat that he's taken more dribbles than everybody on this team combined. That's insane.
That's not good.
And you look at that, and again, he's a good player, but you're so surprised because that's on a team where you have Embiid, and Maxey too. And of course, Embiid's not a guard, but he'll take a good amount of dribbles posting up, and he has the ball in his hands a lot. So just a crazy stat in my opinion. And for Maxey's a guy that you need to have the ball in his hands. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be able to pass, but in a scenario that you're looking to push the tempo, the ball needs to be in his hands. You know what I'm saying? And too often it is that Tyrese Maxey disappears and he's not a focus of the offense. When Tyrese Maxey disappears offensively, I don't want to say he's useless, but he's not great because he's not a great defender. He doesn't pass well. He needs the ball in his hands, to do what he needs to do. So at the end of the day, I think that these players need to be used correctly. Embiid especially has not been used correctly, and it's on Embiid too. And I guess I'll explain why that is after, but I guess just your thoughts on the coaching staff in relation to that.
Well, I'm going to say this, and people are not going to like what I'm saying, but it's true. Embiid's out of shape. He's out of shape. He is really out of shape. That's, I think, the number one reason why he's not doing as good as he's been doing. Another reason is the coaching staff. They're not utilizing him. But how can you be utilized if you're not in shape and you're getting tired every play and you're falling down every play and like complaining to the refs and faking like you're injured? You can't be used correctly. So I think most of it for Embiid is on Embiid. Now goes to James. He needs to stop dribbling, as you correctly stated, but that's his game style.
Quicker decisions. I'm saying he can dribble, but he has to make decisions quicker.
Yeah. He's definitely way more explosive than last year. He's in probably he's in really, really good shape. I don't know, one of the best shapes of his life. But he's in really good shape, and he can make those quick dribbles. Maxey, let's get to him now. He can't play defense like James. We probably have one of the worst.
He's better. He tries. He tries, though.
He tries, but he's not a good defender. Him and James have like we might be one of the worst backcourt defending teams in the NBA. We might be the worst. Those guys just are not good at defense. But what can Maxey do? He needs the ball in his hands to operate, as you said. He can play off ball, but he needs the ball mostly. He
That's
needs
true.
to operate. Like he can like catch and shoot. Like he can do that, but you gotta give him the ball. You have to. And then now we go to the coaching staff. Doc's not utilizing these guys any correctly. I'm not gonna get into Embiid because Embiid's a mess right now. I'll get into Harden and Maxey. He needs to utilize them both better. And yeah. Like, I don't think he's doing that, and we'll get to him later because I really want to explode on him right now. I won't right now. I'll get to him later, but he's not been good. We'll leave it at that for now. He's just been terrible. Where you're from?
Yeah, I like what you said there, and I want to touch on what you said about Embiid because you said a couple things. You said he's out of shape. And in a way, I agree with you. I don't think he's any slower than he usually is, moving up and down the court. I think a little bit, it's offensively getting inside and like power. He lacks a little bit of that, but that's not the issue here. Because here's the reality of the situation. If Embiid wanted to score only 20 points every game or average that, keep it pretty, light on the offensive side and really focus all of his effort on the defensive side, and all the other guys are playing well, we could be favorites for the championship that way because we have so many other guys that can score. The problem is that Embiid's defense, in my opinion, is so much more crucial to the team's success than his offense. You can agree or disagree with that, but that's my
I agree, but he can't play defense.
This is what I'm getting to. Embiid's defense this season has to be bottom 5 out of all centers. It's been atrocious. He has been so soft in the paint, letting every guard just penetrate right inside and, put up a layup right off the backboard. And that cannot happen because where this team lacks is defense. And I think you can look at the continuity stuff, and that's valid. You know what I'm saying? This team has no continuity. It's atrocious. Nobody acts like they know each other. You know what I'm saying? So you have guys like Daniel House, you know what I'm saying? In Melton, and like Montrezl Harrell, and they're new guys and they're good players. But you mix these guys with the guys we have, and there's some people missing defensive assignments, not getting back on time. You know what I'm saying? Like that happens. But that has always happened to the Sixers team since I want to say 2018 when Dario and Rocco were here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that has always been a thing with this team. But the reason we have been not a bottom 10 defensive team is because Joel Embiid has saved us. And I do want to put this on Joel Embiid because that's what he's advertised at. Yes, the expectations are high, but again, the offense can fade. I'm fine with that. If he scores 20 points a game, I am fine with that. But the issue is the defense has to be there. And transitionally, it's not good. Again, he can move up and down the court, but the stamina, it's not as good as it was. So I do think that, you look at the bigs that have gone against Embiid and, Brook Lopez kind of cooked him. Pirtle kind of cooked him. These are not particularly good players. And I know Brook Lopez killed him on the perimeter, but still, Embiid is usually somewhat better on the perimeter than he was that night. And I just think it's more on the defense. The offense can stay where it is, but the defense needs to get better. It just does.
It does. Embiid, I think his focus needs to be score at least 25 a game and play the best defense of your life. That should be the focus of Embiid. But Embiid won't do that. Let's be honest. He'll never do that. He's trying to average 30 points a game, honestly. He'll never do it. And that's just him. But the new guys, I'm going to talk about them now. D'Anthony
Let's
Mellon.
get to that.
I like him.
I like D'Anthony
He's
Mellon.
good. Daniel House, nah, I don't like the shot. I just don't like him. But even though this guy hasn't been particularly good, I still respect the effort. PJ Tucker, I respect the effort. Like getting offensive rebounds, like just doing all the dirty work. Even though he hasn't been that good yet, I think he will get better as the season goes on. And the effort's there.
I'm going to touch on the guys now. I think Melton's really, really good. And I don't. You can look at the stats and it might not be there, but you can just tell the guy's really good and he can do everything. And I think he was a really, really good pickup. Daniel House, hot take, a month from now won't be in the rotation, or at least he shouldn't be, because he really hasn't impressed me. Defensively, he's not anything special. He's fine. Offensively, you can't shoot that many threes and like not even get close. Feels like Glenn Robinson III like a couple years ago when we got him. He was like, oh, this guy shot 41% from three, except he can't hit a three when he comes here. So I don't like House. I don't think he's good. The interesting thing is Montrezl Harrell hasn't been particularly impressive too, and I still like Harrell. But B-Ball Paul has still gotten a lot of those minutes. So that's still a competition that's open. And I'm glad we're having the competition because I think the better one, will ultimately get more playing time. And I'm glad that Doc is playing Paul Reed. That's a good thing. And then on PJ Tucker isn't expected to score. I think he might be averaging 3 points right now, and that's honestly,
What he does. It's what he does.
That's what he does. We have enough scores on this team.
He does the dirty work.
We have enough scores on this team that PJ Tucker legitimately has to be good at doing the dirty work.
And
if you're going to score 3 points, which I get that's his game, he has to be getting all the offensive rebounds, be guarding one of the best players. And what's so concerning about that is the guy's 37, right? So a dirty work guy at 37 years old it's pretty rare. It doesn't happen, but he's been good so far. So I guess I'm just concerned about the future. Again, I always have been with that PJ signing, but so far so good, I guess, for PJ.
Yeah. Now, I want to get into this. Doc. Okay. I'm done with him. He needs to be fired, like right now, immediately, ASAP. He's atrocious. He stinks. He reminds me, for all you Philly fans out there, he reminds me of Joe Girardi. He does. He reminds me of Joe Girardi, like exactly like him. Like they're both old. They both have been coaching for a while. They're just not. He's not the right fit for Philly, and he needs to go. And I think Philly needs to hire Sam Cassell to be the new head coach. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up a good point. I'm not really a Phillies fan, but to all Phillies fans out there, I mean, this is the same exact situation that happened with Girardi. It is so comparable, especially since it's in the same city. And I think the issue is that, at the end of the day, Doc's voice has just grown stale, I think. Nobody listens to him. Really, he's not like Topper, in Philly, where he speaks and people listen. He's kind of just there, you know what I'm saying? And people don't respect his voice. And Doc kind of seems checked out. Doc has been checked out since he got here, and obviously, these players would prefer to win or lose, but there's not much hunger. You know what I'm saying? Hunger to win. You know what I'm saying? And I think that can be brought from the top down because Doc is what's Doc's number one priority right now? It's finding the best golf course for him to play on. We all know that's true.
Yeah,
we do. We just do. You know what I'm saying? So I think from the top down, especially Doc doesn't seem, I don't know, he doesn't seem very into it. And he doesn't seem very motivating. Players, a lot of times this happens, they just don't really want to play for him. Not that they don't like him, but that he's just he's just there and he's not motivating them. Yeah. So I think his voice has kind of grown stale. And what really is annoying to me is that the Sixers, we talk about having one of the best benches in the league. We have one of the best coaching benches in the league. I mean, we have Dave Yeager, who coached, I think, about 7 years in the NBA. We have Sam Cassell, who I guarantee you, if we do not hire as head coach, will go somewhere else and be a very, very successful head coach. I guarantee you that right now. And we also have Dan Burke, who is a defensive genius.
Yeah.
So there's so many of these good coaches on the bench, and there's so many options. Like you wouldn't even look externally. I would be surprised if they did if they fired Doc, but it's just frustrating, man, because like I've never really liked Doc. I never really liked the hiring. And here's the thing about it, right? If they fire Doc, and actually I'm kind of contradicting myself because I do think they can look externally, and I'll tell you why. Who did Embiid want to hire?
D'Antoni.
D'Antoni. Who do you think Harden wants as his coach?
D'Antoni. I don't want D'Antoni though.
But I'm not asking if you want D'Antoni. I just think it's really likely that he would be the guy because you cater to the two best players. That's always how this works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be catering to DeAnthony Melton. James Harden would love D'Antoni. D'Antoni gave him the ball all the time in Houston. They still have a great relationship. And there's precedent to this too. Who did we get as our general manager? We got Morey to lure Harden here originally. Who did we get to keep Harden here? Daniel House and Montrezl Harrell.
Yep.
This has been about catering to Harden as just as much as it's about catering to Embiid. And we catered to Embiid too. We got Tucker. You know what I'm saying? And Tucker was Harden's guy too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's all about Harden and Embiid. Embiid wanted D'Antoni. Harden wanted D'Antoni. If there's a coach firing, again, I think it's still likely they look internally. But if they do look externally, D'Antoni's certainly the guy.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he's a great coach. I don't. I think he's just about average. But honestly, at this point, like, is Doc an average coach in theory? In theory, yes. In theory, yes. With this team, no. He's been here too long. His voice has grown stale, and he just can't do it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
He was never a good coach.
I said average. I didn't say good. I said he's an average coach.
I think we like a culture. We like a motivator. It's kind of like with the Phil. I'm going to compare this to the Phillies again. When they fired
the Phillies,
Jabari, the Phillies had a losing record. What happened when we decided to bring up the bench coach Rob Thompson? We went to a winning record. I think it's a lack of identity and it's a lack of culture and it's a lack of motivation. And I think that's why we're so bad right now. And it's personality, and Doc just doesn't have that personality to be our head coach. My opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that always works. It's not just something that you can say snap, and then Girardi goes, Thompson comes in. It doesn't always work that way. What happened with the Phillies was an outlier, and I'm honestly shocked they've gotten as far as they have. And by the way, crazy game last night. Absolutely crazy game. It was crazy.
Catcher in the league.
But it's not something that always works. But at the same time, Doc's not the right guy. So I just think that's it, plain and simple. It's he needs to go.
Yeah. So I think we've talked about Doc for pretty much a while now.
Yeah.
Let's do weekly projections.
Can I lead this one? I just want to create the lines. Okay.
Yeah.
So we kind of messed this up. Not kind of. We really messed this up. We didn't really. We should have had like 2 episodes by now during the season. But we're gonna start it now anyway. We're going to do projections for this week. So we're going to go until the games next Saturday. We have 4 games until next Saturday that we're going to cover. So a pretty busy schedule for the Sixers next week. And I'm going to make up a line. Okay. I'm going to make up an arbitrary line on my own that I think is fair. Okay. And you're going to take one team or the other. Okay. With that line. Okay.
Right.
It's either 1 point or 0 points. Very simple. And we can pick the same thing. Okay.
Yep.
Tonight we got Sixers and Bulls, okay? I'll say either if you pick the Sixers got to win by 2, okay? For you to get it. If you pick the Bulls could win or lose by up to 2, okay?
Yeah.
The Sixers have to lose by 2 or more. So the Sixers have to win by 3. The Bulls could lose by 2 and you could still win, okay?
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So you're going to pick the Sixers or the Bulls for this?
Bulls.
You're going to pick the Bulls?
Back-to-back night. We're not winning.
I'm going to go with the Sixers. We're back. We're back, man. We're back.
Nope.
I'm going to go with the Sixers. So we're going to write this down. Actually, let me get up a sheet. I'll do that after. We'll just keep going, okay?
Yeah.
I guess we'll just remember these. Next one on Monday, we have the Sixers at the Wizards. I'm going to say if you pick the Sixers, they got to win by 8. Wizards could win or lose by 8.
I'm picking the Wizards.
You're going to pick the Wizards? I might go with the Wizards too. I think I'm going to go with the Wizards on this one just because, like, 8, I said it at that because I don't think the Wizards are particularly good, but at the same time, like, you know, it could happen.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll go with for that one. Next one. Wizards, Sixers. Sixers at home this time.
Sixers.
We'll do the same line. We'll do Sixers because I don't think, the home hasn't made a big difference. Sixers, we'll go with 8
Easily.
on this one.
Yeah,
Sixers,
easily.
8 again? Okay.
If
So
they don't win, like, I might kill myself. If
So
they don't win.
we both go for the Wizards line on the first Wizards game, and the Sixers on the second one for the home game.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. And the last one of the week, Sixers are going to host the Knicks at home. I'm going to say Sixers got to win by at least 3.
I think we beat him.
You think we beat it by 3? I'm going to go with Sixers again too. Okay. So what we're going to do is basically every week, and I'm sorry I didn't really explain this before, is and be sure we'll make sure, under the post we make about this podcast on the Instagram, comment what you think. We always want to interact with people that listen to this, so make sure to comment what you think about these lines that we created. But what we're gonna do is basically if you win and your pick is right, you get a point. If you lose, you don't get a point. Simple as that for every game. And we're going to see at the end of the season who is better at predicting these. And obviously we missed the first 6 games, but we're going to be consistent from now on. So that's how we're going to do it. So that is the predictions. And we're going to do that every week. We might add in some national games. Maybe so we can get to 82. We can add in like 4 national games throughout the season, some big national games. We'll add in a couple of those just to get us there. But I guess this could change throughout the season. We don't have an exact plan, but just a cool competition that we're going to be doing on here.
Yep.
And before we end the episode, bit of trivia.
Yep.
Trivia question for today. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, the Sixers Standard, and leave a comment under the post when we make a post about this question. Trivia question of the day. For the Sixers this season, who scored the first basket? Who scored the first point? Could be a basket, free throw, could be anything. Who scored the first point? Remember to follow us on Instagram once again, the Sixers Standard. No capitals, no spaces, and we'll have a post up right about when this podcast is posted. So good luck with that. And if you get it right, you get a shout out on the next episode.
Yep.
Any tidbits before we end off today? Obviously, the Phillies are doing well.
Yeah.
I actually got one if you want me to share.
I don't really think we have well, you might if you wanted to share, but I don't really have anything.
Yeah, I actually do have something before we go. Joshua Primo of the San Antonio Spurs was released yesterday. Now, Primo showed a lot of potential. He was the 12th overall pick in 2021. And he stated that it was, mental health and he had a trauma that he really wanted to focus on. So, we're praying for him. We hope everything's okay with him. But obviously you have to wonder if there's more going on because Primo was a good player, or at least he showed he had a lot of potential in this league, to be a really good player. And he just gets cut, right? You think this is because there's anything else going on behind the scenes, or just the Spurs are being a really good organization and, cutting him and, giving him his wish there?
The Spurs are tanking. That's what I think.
That's a hot take. And I'll tell that's a really hot take. Primo was selected last year.
They're tanking.
He's a young guy.
I don't care. They're trying to get Victor. They're trying to get Victor.
Hold on. Teams don't do that. Teams just don't do that. You don't pick somebody 12th overall that's developing and going to be a star in this league. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is so counterintuitive to try to tank for a draft pick to be good while releasing your draft picks for nothing that might be good players and likely will be good players. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what teams do to old players. They don't do that to young players. I would be shocked. That's a really hot take.
Maybe, but I believe it's either, if it's on mental health, I think it's Victor. I'm trying to get Victor Wembanyama.
I would really disagree with that point. That might be the hottest take I've heard of.
Yep.
Maybe ever. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave you guys on that note to sit with Noah's very hot take. It's been Ethan Koppelman and Noah Mofsowitz. We'll see you guys next week.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6ers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.